Hi, I'm Darian Relier. I am the author of the Dark Legends series. The first book is The Black War Begins. And I'm doing this very informal vid in response to requests from many of my friends and readers and fans. And while gathering the information from the first book, The Black War Begins, I admit that I really need to re-edit as I encountered many mistakes. But since no one has mentioned them to me, I've put that project on the back burner. Also, I want to warn you that some of the information I give here might warrant a spoiler alert, so be aware, although I think I managed to avoid too many details, and I attempted to stick to only those names mentioned in the first book, and only those with which you might have difficulty. So remember, this is not a synopsis of the story. It's to help you pronounce or know how I pronounce the names and words in the first book, or in all of the books. And forgive me for reading, I'm kind of camera shy. It might help to understand that I wrote the series with the thought that their language, known as Common Tongue, derived from Ancient Tongue and was a mishmash of the languages of the survivors of the last Holocaust, an apocalyptic event in their world, which I refer to as Cador. I wanted to convey a feel for being in another time and place. My people have an accent, however. Trying to write with as thick an accent as I hear in my imagination is very difficult and comes out even harder to read. I didn't want people to be frustrated with that and lose interest in the story, so I put in a few simple things to set the mood and occasionally remind the reader that the characters are speaking with an accent in another language. Names are spelled differently, but if you really look at them, they're usually spelled phonetically. I use a lot of double A's, double N's, double Y's. I use a lot of the letter Y itself, usually in exchange for I, E, or A, and I use contractions: cross, tween, twould, tis, twas, and twere for across, between, it would, it is, it was, and it were sometimes. Even though that one isn't exactly grammatically correct, but not all of these characters are upperclassmen. Most of them are rough and rowdy warriors. Not to say that warriors can't be upperclassmen, because there are many who are, just saying that everyone in this series has their own background. I use Milege, Milord, and Milady, and I also use Ama and Abba for mother and father. And if anyone can't figure it out because you don't live in my mind, it's Yesser and Yesem. Another thing I did in the books is the creative use of capitals to let people know I'm speaking of something that has to do with magic. Or to flag a difference in the perspective of the one who's doing the speaking or thinking, such as using human with a capital if a magic-bearing race is talking about them, or human without a capital when it's a human talking about them. I capitalize words to flag something different is about to happen, or it is something different, to let the reader know that the words are being spoken in telepathy, such as spoke, voice, replied, etc., when they're capitalized. And the telepathic communications in the book are in italics. I also use a separator of tildes between certain paragraphs to warn the reader of a change in point of view or setting, as the story takes place in the minds and lives of many characters in many different places. Cador is huge and has lots of places. The desert is called the Dragon's Breath, and the mountain ranges are the raptor's talons, with the eye of the raptor being the primary pass through them, along with the razor's edge and the razor's cut. The southern slips are the dangerous cliffs of the southern shoreline, where the razor's edge meets the ocean of fears. The Sea of Dreams and the Dragon's Tears are the other two major oceans. In Windsor Forest, which stretches from along the southern slips all the way to the edge of the Great Plains, you'll come to Kingsgate Village, and here's where High King Shaitan lives in Evantir Castle. His father was King Briard, and his mother is Queen Coral. The seaside villages all have port districts, known as Port-o-Whatever, associated with their village, such as Drecken, the home of the Dragon Clan, and the Warrior Brotherhood has Port-o-Drecken, and Kingsgate has Port-o-Kings, etc. Surrounding Drecken are the Great Plains of Drecken, and traveling further north or east, you'll encounter Bindon Forest, and then the far Northlands, and then the Icelands. One of the main villages in the first book is Cadott, and the village at the foot of the cut of the Razor's Edge is Loreley. There's an abandoned keep in Deep Binden Forest known as the Keep of St. Swithin's, which also has a nearby bog of St. Swithin's. The other main forest mentioned is Darkling, and within that is the elven homeland known as the Weirdrich. And yes, the elven Prince Merden is ship's master of the Kraken, the pride of the Sprite Nation and the fastest ship on the high seas, and his cousin, Calais Chanté, is the captain of the Sprite Elite Guard. Now for some of the characters. I'll try to name them in the order in which they appear, but not all of them are in order. The series Dark Legends is named after the primary character, Dark. Her younger sister is Storm. Elana is her mother, and her father Griffin is the battle commander. His war horse is called Conan. Shayla is the clan healer. Tiakat is the kennel master. Alric is the weapons master. Silas is the blacksmith. There's Ian, the stable master, Torin the leather master, and his mate, Murda, a master chef and lead cook for the Dragon's Den, the castle of the Warrior Brotherhood. Oh, I think I said that already. The people of the Edge and the Talons are known as the Dagoch and the Gordach, and their Dana and Dano are Garrick and Tiran, the parents of Gara. Later mentioned are her mate Kirag and his friend Kitog. Many times in the book their animal hunting partners are mentioned, and they are the Night Wings and the Night Beasts, who are also called the Kaya. Other characters include Freya, Kala the clan seer, Walker the boy seer, Corbin the raven, Brannon the predator, Tawn the runner, the goddess Morrigan, the Fae, the mighty Mahail, aka the last dragon matriarch, her elder sister Cahail, and younger brother Mikhail. Warriors Kidra, Axel, Dax, Yunis, Rolf, Rigel, Tyndall, Apria, Zoe, Ethan, Ariel, Reyna, Regan, sisters Tana and Tia, Daylin, sister of Ethan, brothers Cade and Dade, Halia, Baron, Lauren, brothers Tanner and Dane, the older brothers of Ton, Flynn, cousins Camden and Cameron, Elise, Payton, Katana, the bad boys of the Warrior Brotherhood, Michael and Raka, Hannah, Cotter, twins Torsten and Tierson, Prism, sisters Astra and Aspen, Thorn, Maddox, Mace, and his twin sister Minx, KL, Diana, Devara, Dirk, and the stealth ops warriors Bastion and Grayson. Beckett is a king's agent from Cadott Village who is mentioned, and the war dogs Benson and Balaga. Some of the dragons are the 7 sons of Mahail: Gunnar, Miston, Ragnar, Kagan, Sindar, Shasen, and Bryn. The sons of Mahail are Findar, Zadar, and Krinar. Cinnamar and Shredar are her daughters. And then there are sisters Hanaya and Linnea, Shakaya, Nawin, Tigran, Danarkin, Curlayan, McCade, McLaren, and Larian, Tanaya, Isaiah, Farayan, Zemalin, Delorden, Delphian, and Vardayan, as well as Denaman, Korayag, and Danayag, and their cousin Radriag. Shandon and siblings Sidrea, Pelea, and Petrea come from the Roldan. By the way, Dark loves her cafe, which is the equivalent of our modern-day coffee, and Gunnar tries to translate the phrase, I love you, from ancient tongue to common, and it comes out as having a feminine and masculine version, Vitteach and Vitteoch. Lastly, The Black War Begins is the first in the Dark Legends series, followed by Death of Life and Search for the Weirdrich. I'm currently working on the 4th book in the series, Battle of Winter's Edge. If I get enough positive feedback, I'll do a short vid like this one on the other books as well, since I introduce many more elves and sprites as well as other characters from more races. The books are available in both paperback and ebook versions through Amazon.com and Barnes & Noble print on demand. And yes, that includes Kindle and Nook. You can get more information, including video links, on my webpage, thedragonwarrior.com. Thanks for watching. and listening, and I hope you're now even more likely to read and enjoy the series.